Hey guys, it's me again. I had to turn off the air conditioner to record this, so I'm going to try and get this done really quickly. I didn't get asked very many questions last time, but I did get asked one really good question that I'm not sure I quite understood, but I'm going to try and answer it as best as I can. The gist I got of the question was whether I thought that we as a society are going back to what we had done previously in sort of bigger ways, just because we feel compelled to, for whatever reason, and kind of whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. I can really only speak from my own cultural perspective here, but I've noticed that there's always been this kind of trend toward vintage things, and I really think that this comes from the capitalist perspective that we have, where old tried and true methods of anything that work are safer and therefore more profitable, because in the end that's the goal of capitalism, is to just keep making money. However, society in general wants things to just get better. Technology, clothing, everything needs to get better and cheaper, whereas the capitalists just want to keep making money, so they stick with the tried and true methods. So basically you can think of progress in terms of invention and profit. So invention, say, as progress goes up, invention goes up. Or, I guess, as invention goes up, progress goes up. However, with profits, inventions are risky, and so the desire for progress at the risk of invention goes down, and so basically the graph that society wants goes like this, and the graph that the capitalists want goes like this, and so you have to meet somewhere in the middle. And so this is where you get things like, you know, spinners on wheels. It's not really anything that, you know, makes sense to buy, but it's kind of a safe investment, and you know people will want it because everybody likes tricking out their wheels. It's like taking an old kind of shirt that someone likes, and trying to resell it, but instead of selling it in the original way, you just sew a bunch of sequins on it. Basically, it's the compromise that we have to make in order to have a society that is profitable, but also one that progresses. So I'm not exactly sure I agree with it, because this is how we end up with things like people arbitrarily buying F-450s that tear up the environment and don't really have any merit to them except for a whole lot of horsepower. But this is also the way that you get hybrids that people want to buy that look good and also have lots of good features, such as low gas mileage, low emissions, low impact on the environment. But the problem with this is that pretty much everything in our society runs in a capitalist method. And so, for example, hospitals don't really have any desire to search out rare conditions because it's not really profitable. You'll just lose money doing them. And so that's how you get people like me who see 4 and hear constant ringing in their ears, and no one knows anything about how to fix it, so it doesn't really get fixed, it just gets overlooked. And that's also how you get people who can't get insured because of their conditions, since they weren't insured before. And I think that that really just sucks. So I guess the problem is communism and socialism, in theory, are actually quite good, because the idea of them is that everything is in benefit of the community as a whole, and we care about people. The problem with keeping everything in community-minded is that, unfortunately, humans in general care more about themselves than about the people around them. This isn't necessarily bad, it's just a fact of nature. Everybody would rather have themselves survive to be able to help other people, perchance, than to have the whole group survive at their expense. Which is why capitalism is, in general, the most successful form of economy, because everybody really is just looking out for themselves. And it's unfortunate, but true. What people don't realize is that everything you purchase is actually the greatest impact on this system. So, if you want, say, progress, then what you should do is kind of bite the bullet and buy the more expensive things, because the only reason they're expensive is because they're risky. If everybody buys those things, that's a vote for those things, and then those prices will go down and people will try to develop those products rather than stick with the tried and true products. The problem with that, of course, is that most people don't have money to buy lots of expensive things, so they kind of have to pick their battles. Which is where you get to my issues, and I try not to get too political out here, but basically my battles, for the most part, are I can really only encourage people to buy environmentally stable cars, because I myself can't drive. I encourage people to buy local produce and meats because that reduces impact on the environment and animals. And that's all the ranting that I'm going to do for now. So as always, I'd greatly appreciate it if you would subscribe, rate, and leave comments down there. I'd love any more questions like this. And the reason this video was so late is actually because I was working on the music segment. It's a lot harder than I expected because I don't know exactly how I want to go about it, and I haven't come up with a good name for it yet either. The only one that I've come up with is Womfdal, which is Western art music for the average listener. So if you have any ideas for the name, comments please. And if you guys have any requests for any pieces that you want to learn about, I would more than gladly touch on them for you. So I guess that's about everything for today. I'll catch you guys next time. Bye.